Okay. Very important question. How to manage your finance when you want to study in US? Well, one important thing you have to understand is US universities gives lot of scholarships. Lot of scholarships. These universities have lot of fundings. Now these fundings come from either corporates or from the government if it is a public university. So fundings are available. Now you need to know which of the university you are going to apply, because as I mentioned earlier that each university in USA is independent. So some university may have funding, some university may not have funding. Some programs have funding, some programs don't have funding. So if you are going to basically first apply to universities and then look for scholarship, you are probably basically not going to get any, or it is not the best approach. So when you have to basically, when your primary concern is scholarship, you should select universities that offer scholarships in your program. That's one. Second, international students get merit-based scholarships. They don't get need-based scholarships. So you have to find out the international scholarships or the merit-based scholarships that are available. That's two. So once you have the university that offers scholarships, then you basically have to do the pre-application that I've mentioned earlier, to find out whether you basically qualify for those universities. You basically qualify, then you send your applications. Now when should you send your applications? Scholarships have scholarship deadlines. So send your applications before the scholarship deadlines. Generally the early deadlines are the scholarship deadlines. So if I'm talking about August, September 2014, then September, October 2013 is the scholarship deadline for most of the universities. So accordingly you have to send the application. Second is, universities have 2 or 3 intakes. So, which intake is the best intake for scholarships? Well, August, September 2014 or fall 2014 intake or fall intake is a best intake for scholarship. The reason being, it's a major intake. All US universities offer this intake. Number of students that basically apply to these intakes are more. So the scholarships allocated for this particular intake is also more. Sometimes it so happens that the university utilizes the entire fund for the fall intake and nothing is left for the other intakes. But that doesn't mean that other intakes are not important. It means that the chances of scholarship for fall intake is just more. That's one. Now, how are scholarships basically given to the students? Once you know the universities that are basically offering scholarships, then one important factor is your standardized scores. Now for undergraduate, a SAT1 score is very important. Now a SAT1 is out of 2,400. If a student gets a 2,100 plus or 2,000 plus score, he or she has a good chance of getting scholarship anywhere between 25% to 75% of the tuition fee waiver. It depends. So it depends also on the which university that you are going to apply. If you are applying to Ivy League universities, it's going to be competitive, so scholarships are difficult. So there are 4,000 universities in US, so probably if you are going to target the top 100 ones, you have a better chance of getting scholarships. So that is also important. Then once you know that your standardized scores, even for GI and GMAT, I know basically there are universities which based on a good GRE score or GMAT score do offer certain level of scholarships. Some of the basically programs that you are applying attracts a lot of scholarship because the university actually wants to promote those programs. So if you are applying to those same programs in that university which wants to promote it, then probably you are going to get a lot more scholarship than any other universities. So that is also important. Your standardized scores, the program that you are going to apply also attracts scholarships. Third factor is basically you need to basically, some of the students basically, have work experience or a very good profile. They are a vice president or on a top management level of organization. Now, if you have a good profile, then the university will grant you scholarship because they want you on the campus. There is a lot of learning that the students can get from you. So they are looking forward to have you on your campus so they can give you scholarships. So your profile. Some of the programs require good portfolios. So if you are basically a fine art student and you have a profile and a good portfolio, then you can get scholarships. So your profile, your portfolio also attracts a good scholarships. So then once you, this is about the merit-based scholarship that I was talking about. So you know basically well that you have got scholarships. There are other scholarships that are available. The other scholarships are research scholarships. Some programs are research based and they are funded by corporates or governments. So there is a research based scholarship for if you apply to those programs, and if you are on the merit based. As I've told you, international students are eligible for merit based scholarships. So research based scholarships are anywhere between 20,000 US dollars to maybe 40,000 US dollars per year. And I know students, they get a tuition fee waiver or sometimes a full scholarship plus a research based scholarship. So that covers up your entire cost of education. And sometimes the students can send $10,000 or $20,000 back home. That is the amount they can save actually. Second, besides research based scholarship, there is something called graduate assistantship. Graduate assistantships are for students who are applying for non-research based scholarship. So graduate assistantships is whereby you are going to work in the college campus and they can give you 25% mostly tuition fee reduction waiver. They are paying you, which can cover up approximately 25% of the tuition fee. Besides, this is again in addition to the scholarship, a student gets graduate assistantship. There is also a teaching assistantship that is available. For a teaching assistantship, some of the university may tell you to give you a TSC or TW test to prove that you can basically actually teach. So TSC is normally done for teaching assistantships, and TW is asked for research assistantship. So if you can get teaching assistantship, it can cover 1/3 of your tuition fee. So this is apart from you getting your merit-based scholarship again. So that covers a good amount of money. So the scholarships that are available right now for students are merit-based scholarships plus research-based scholarships or teaching-based scholarship or graduate assistantship-based scholarship. Then how could the student further manage the finance? The student can work 20 hours per week during the college period, and on holidays they can work full-time. On weekends they can work full-time. And the average or the minimum wage as per basically US law is $7.25 per hour. And normally the student get above this. They will normally get around $8 or $10 per hour. So that can cover up your part of your living expenses that you could think of. The next is off-campus accommodation. You get off-campus accommodations which can cut your accommodation expenses by at least 25%. So if you are going to stay outside the campus, share your accommodation cost will come down. Then you have the educational loan from banks. Now Indian bank gives you loan up to 20 lakhs. And these are basically low interest, priority loans. So they attract low interest. So probably you will get it at 8 or 9%, or maybe maximum it could be 10%. But 8 to 10% is normally the interest that could be basically charged. Now the student doesn't have to pay or the interest or the EMI when they are studying. They normally will pay it after they finish their education plus 6 months of grace. So you have sufficient time to repay your loan. So that's one more thing how you can manage your finance. So you get 20 lakhs of loan from banks, and what you need is basically 1 or 2 guarantors and a mortgage. So if that is available, then you get this 20 lakhs of educational loan for you. The next is if you have somebody in US who can be a co-signer, and that somebody in USA is a US citizen or a permanent resident, then you can get total loan for your education at a low interest rate for long term, which is normally for 20 years. So with all these options, you could be able to manage your finance for study in USA better.